Hello and welcome back to another Rocket League replay analysis. In today's video, we will be discussing a simple mistake that is making your life more difficult by ruining your rotations and your ability to play the ball effectively. As always, before we get started, if you guys are interested in a replay analysis of your own, make sure you check out my Discord, which is linked down in the description, as I do offer free coaching through there. But without any further ado, let's jump right on in. This one's all about boost pathing. What we want to do, the small boost pads are positioned in places on the field that it makes sense to pick them up as we're driving wherever it is we're going. The big pads are really far to the outer edges of the field, so we only want to go for those big boost pads when we know we have time and it's absolutely necessary. Right now, I think you're thinking maybe you chase this ball up the wall, maybe, or you go back. At this precise moment, you hadn't quite decided yet. At some point, you're gonna recognize, okay, wait, there's no mid boost here, I'm only on 20, I'm just gonna go back, which is totally fine because we also don't want to be, like, throwing ourselves out of the play, going for a challenge that we have a very low chance of winning, especially with this guy coming forward. So I don't mind you going back here. But as we're going back, I want you to pay attention to the fact that you miss literally every single boost pad. Until you get that one. So you get one. So with this rotation, I want you to get on a path of pads where you can get at least 3 in whatever direction you're going. So right here, we have our teammate rotating back before us. If we're not going to commit for that ball, it means that we're going to let him challenge first after he does whatever he does back there. So we will now become second man on this rotation. So in this position, I would go like this, get this pad, get this pad, get this pad, and now you'll notice you're now in the middle of the field, and this ball is still not threatening, right? Like, we're not worried about this ball being in our net in the next, like, second, especially because we do have a teammate now with full boost, and we also now have 3 more pads. So from here, we can now swing out this way, grab this pad, and grab this pad, and you can see while we're doing this, still not a threat, not a concern at all, nowhere near the net. So now we can be like over here, facing this way. So now, watch what happens, because Lepin's gonna get this touch, and you're gonna be backwards here in net. Pretty awkward spot for you to be in. If you had instead swung wide and were over here, now, look at this, as a free ball. Beef's gonna be caught out because he is pushing forward. You have a completely free ball here, but because you're caught backwards in net when this touch comes out, now you are forced to just wait for Beef's shot as opposed to having this free win on the challenge. This is awkward. This one's all about angles, and this is a mistake that I see tons of players make. So this is all fine. You flip back as you get here. You're already at this point, you've already made the decision that you're not going to immediately turn on this ball. Which, in all honesty, if you decided to just turn, I wouldn't mind that either, because you probably have at least a 50-50 here with Bop, if not a clean win. But this can be also pretty hard to react to, because you just see him sitting here, and that's a pretty quick decision to make. So I don't mind you deciding to stay back. But the issue you're going to have is that in staying back, you drive up the backboard really early. And what this means is that as this ball bounces along the backboard, in order to catch back up to it, as you can see you're doing now, you need to turn this way. So what that means is the ball is coming at you from behind you, and you need to try to get it out with power in weird ways. And this is pretty difficult mechanically to pull off when you find yourself in this awkward of a situation. So kind of like what we talked about when rotating back towards the net, in these spots, don't be afraid. You pick up this boost to just take a wider rotation. Just go like up the wall here instead of there. Because it would have taken the same amount of time, but from here, watch how this ball bounces. Huh. Yeah, that's, if you're here facing, and you can face out towards the ball, I think you'd have a lot more confidence getting the clear from here, rather than facing backwards with it coming at you over your shoulder, because that's tough. So yeah, just give yourself easier angles to play the ball from. It will make your life so much easier, especially when you have the time to do it, because yeah, this is awkward. We get a bit lucky that Beef doesn't get that shot, but whatever works. We're gonna get caught in a bit of an awkward spot here. I think this one's gonna be it. Result in a goal. Yeah, because Lep is not gonna make this save. Okay. So, this one's all about angles again. So, you know, you're here, you're chilling. I wouldn't mind if you steal their boost. I think you meant to, you just missed it. If I had to guess, because you're this close, you might as well have taken it. At the point that you're here, what we want to do is we again want to give ourselves an angle to play the ball. We do not want, ideally, to stay on this sidewall. And the reason being, once again, our car is not between our net and the ball. So, if we're over here and the ball gets cut that way, we might have a hard time getting back in front of it. So right here, what I would do, like you're sitting in front of it, as you flip back, I wouldn't flip straight. I would flip slightly over this way. Just give yourself this angle, because this now puts you between the ball and the goal. So we're covered there. But now, if we're over here, when Beef messes up this wave dash, now we can like make a full turn and attack the ball with a good angle. But you, on the other hand, are still directly in front of the ball. So you can't turn, because if you try to take the time to turn, Beef's going to beat you to the ball. So you're forced to play it like with this awkward going backwards, which is not easy for literally anybody, especially when there's an opponent sitting right there watching everything that's happening. So again, with these, make sure you give yourself that angle, make your life easy. Don't put yourself in these kinds of positions, because it's just going to make your life harder, and it's going to make it more difficult for you to effectively play the ball. Okay, and then this is a spacing thing. So, we flip over to the side, you know, fine. Leopard gets the boost, gets the ball, all well and good. One thing we want to avoid is, at no point do we really want to be even with where the ball is on the field. And the reason being is because if your teammate wants to try to pass the ball to you, if you're even with the ball, it is real hard for your teammate to send the ball into a spot where you can continue to attack it with momentum. So, I want you to imagine that the field, like a 3x3 grid. So let's imagine that like this is kind of what the field looks like. So in general, when you got a teammate like in an area, you want to be at most like one area away, but you want to make sure that you're slightly, you know, behind. Because if you're here, this pass is a lot more difficult for you to be able to attack quickly. Meanwhile, if you're back here and just kind of driving normally, now when your teammate like sends this pass this way, now you can just run onto it with the momentum that you already have. Because yeah, here, what happens is we just, you know, we flip forward, and now it's like, okay, what exactly are we doing now? Because now we gotta like slow down, and we can't really make a play on the ball. And you can see you literally come to a dead stop. Now granted, you might not challenge the ball if you were back here, but imagine if you were still over here. You might not jump because, you know, Bop is in the air, but this, again, at least gives you the option. And one of the most important things in Rocket League is giving yourself options. Like, from here, you have the choice, do I want to go for the ball or do I want to stay back? You have that option. From here, you only got one choice. You can't go. It's physically impossible for you to go. You're at a dead stop, and that guy's in the air. So you're beat. If he were to shoot this, it's in your net. Because you literally cannot do anything to defend this shot. I'd be careful of chasing the ball down like this too. So you land here. Honestly, at this point, there's no immediate threat on your net. I wouldn't even mind if you go take that boost. It's right there, just go grab it. And then turn around, because if you were like over here, now if your teammate wants to win the ball, he can. Because like if you were still over here, this is all well and good. Your teammate would be up. You're like in this spot. And now this ball is yours. So just kind of try to position for, like, away from where your teammate is playing the ball so that you're not, you know, doing nothing with your space. Because what's going to happen here is that, like, you get on the same side of the field as your teammate. I think you're trying to go for, like, maybe a bump, but you're just never going to get there. And now you have to, like, recorrect your position and get back into a spot where you can actually help out. But the entire time you're getting back into that spot, you're completely useless because you're going backwards. Now you're all the way out here, and now you gotta, again, chase down this play, and Beef already has a read on the ball, so yeah, just trying to put yourself in those better spots. Just be aware of where the ball is more than likely going to go based off the positioning of the other players, and play off of that. Okay, so be careful of this, and this is kind of a general rule. In the same way you don't want to, like, use boost when someone's making an obvious touch, you don't want to leave the ground when there's a challenge coming. Because right here, right as Bob jumps and this becomes a 50-50, your wheels are in the air. So from, like, this position with your wheels off the ground, you have no way to react to where this ball goes. Like, until you land, you're just stuck going this way. If your wheels are on the ground and the ball, like, goes over here, now you can turn and go play that. If it goes over there, you can turn and play that. But with your wheels in the air, you can't do anything. So, yeah, generally, you don't want to boost, you don't want to flip, you don't want to jump when a challenge or a touch is coming out, unless you know for absolute certain where it's going. If you don't know exactly where it's going, don't leave the ground. So this is a great example of what happens when you give yourself this angle. Like, yes, you get demoed, but look at how much easier it is to play this ball. Like, because you have this angle to play with, it's just so much easier to get this ball out. Now, granted, we don't get the best touch, because it just kind of pops up. Ideally, we'd like to play this directly behind the guy who's challenging. So, like, if we have this ball, ideally, we want to play it right here. Because he's coming this way, so that will take the ball right past him. If we do that with, like, a flip, we can probably stay with it and avoid the demo entirely. The only reason we get demoed is because we stay super close to the wall and he's able to come down and demo us. So yeah, just whoop, and off you go. But either way, you gave yourself the angle, which is exactly what we want to be seeing, because it makes it easier to play the ball. As you guys can see, Rocket League really is a game all about angles and trying to make your life as simple as possible. If you put your car in positions where you are straight on with the ball, it is a lot harder to make effective touches, as opposed to if you give yourself a wider angle to work with. So in your own games, make sure you're really focusing on the angle you put your car to the ball, so that you give yourself the best chance to make an effective play on the ball. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.